Hi, my name's Alex Hutchinson, creative director and co-founder of Typhoon Studios.
So Alex, talk about where the idea for this game came from.
I'm a really big fan of Golden Age science fiction, and I felt like a lot of the modern sci-fi turned into these dystopian futures. They were very gray and brown, they were very negative. I wanted to get back to that sort of adventure vibe of going out somewhere because it's the right thing to do and because it's exciting, and throwing players into a sort of a positive, optimistic, upbeat space adventure.
So talk a little about the inspirations when you were creating this game. What games did you look to?
We've worked on so many games over the years that we were trying to sort of distill the things we thought worked the best on those. So, when I was on Far Cry, I really like sort of the open attack on different, objectives, and the fact that the player can tackle, problems from different perspectives, and that the player story was driving them, through the world. Similarly, when I was on, Spore, this idea of sort of positive, goofy space, creatures and weird things you would find whenever you turned over a rock. So I was sort of gluing together a lot of things that we'd learned over the years, and then combining that with Golden Age science fiction and sort of a love of those old adventure serials.
So the object of the game is you crash in on these planets and you have to collect a variety of different things to upgrade your suit and complete objectives.
Yeah, pretty much. So you'll stumble out of your javelin, which is the code name for your habitat, and you're pretty open-ended objectives. So you'll stumble across an obstacle, whether it's an unscalable cliff or a creature you can't overcome, and by scanning it, you'll gain data, which will give you an objective, which you can then complete by gathering objects in the environment, or again hunting different creatures. And then when you craft that, you can move forward in the world and continue your overall mission of sort of scanning and researching this new alien planet.
You guys had a bit of everything. I saw puzzle elements. So when I had to get one of those alien alloys, I saw combat, exploration. You guys can have a little bit of everything in here.
Yeah, I hope so. Like for us, the three sort of pillars are navigation. So it's a first-person sort of platformer in one sense, which is challenging, I know, for many people, but hopefully it's fun. It's also got a little bit of combat. You do have a weapon if you want to use it, and then there are light puzzle elements as well.
Possible what makes your game stand out the most, though, is its tone. It has a very humorous tone.
It's great. Yeah, I'm glad you say that. We went for, like we're saying, an earnest comedy in this game. So you have an adventure you need to overcome. It's a serious business for the people that have sent you there. But the world itself is a little silly, and what you can do is humorous. Again, on Far Cry, I always loved the idea of, you being killed by a bear on fire because you'd thrown a Molotov cocktail 30 seconds ago. And that, for me, was the source of a very sort of video game interactive form of comedy. So we're trying to lean into that on this title and open it up as much as possible.
But you're also not alone in this endeavor. You have a AI that talks to you and assists you along the way.
Yeah, you have an AI partner who's always talking in your ear. We've had some people say her voice is annoying, so we've added the option to sort of tell her to shut up. So that's an option you can engage in. But yeah, the talkie version for me is funnier and more engaging. So you're not alone on this world.
She sounds like a very 1950s secretary trying to explain things to you in a very robotic monotone fashion.
Yeah, actually we liked it. It sounded a little bit like the character who worked the desk in Ghostbusters, and so we're like, that's where we're going. That fits the tone of our world, so we'll lean into that.
So, talk about your talent tree. You have a very a lot of upgrades you can make to your suit, your gloves, your weapon, everything.
Yep. So again, you have this big, sort of opportunity landscape that you can engage in, and it's really up to you what you tackle and in what order. But we did want a lot of upgrades for the players, sort of a lot of different challenges we can put in front of you, and hopefully a lot of different ways to tackle the problems in the world.
You also have a slap button.
Yeah, we went with melee. We're gonna make a comedy. We thought, you don't want to have your sort of, your typical sort of rifle hit from a shooter. So yes, if you hit the melee button, you slap, and if you hold it down, you get the grandmother slap, so that she can come up behind you and wipe you out.
So how many different planets can we explore? And are they? I'm guessing they're not. Are they procedurally generated? Because they seem like they're handcrafted.
Yeah. No, there's only one planet for in the fiction of the world. Everyone's being sent to a different planet, but we're still an indie studio. It's not a full price game. There's only 25 of us working on it, so we were not unable to make thousands of worlds. And in one sense, we like to think of it as a very unfashionable game. We're a lot of guys in our late 30s, early 40s. So we're trying to make games you can finish. If you pitch me a 1,000-hour game these days, part of my heart dies, and I don't want to touch it. So we're trying to make that game for that sort of audience.
So when does the game come out, and what platforms will it be on?
It comes out very early 2020, which sounds like the future, but sadly it's just around the corner. At the moment on PS4, Xbox, and PC.
Any plans for Nintendo Switch?
We're talking a lot with Nintendo. I would love to see a Switch version out, but I can't confirm it just yet.
What engine did you build the game in?
Yeah, we built on Unreal 4, which is an awesome engine, super versatile, and allowed us to do a lot of stuff, but yeah, straight off the shelf.
Will it be on the Epic Store exclusively?
We will be on the Epic Store.